out the Kesslers.
Well, I mean, the Graybills married in.
You know, I have a cousin in Virginia who's descended from the Graybills and the Kesslers. My great grandmother was Nancy Zimmerman.
There's a lot of Kesslers, you know, in here too.
Yeah. I found out the Kesslers, they have a shearer, he's a shearer, I think. And I know the
shearer, yeah.
I know the shearers at Crawfordsville. Warren Shearer was the dean of the whole bunch. And we had his grandson.
No.
And they're the same shearers.
Are they the same shearers?
Yeah.
Because I know the Kesslers go back. There's a lady shearer that married one of the Kesslers or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
ER.
S-H-E-A.
ER, maybe.
I think it's B-A-E-R. B-A-R-E-R.
Or just S-H-E-A-R.
Okay.
That's a lady.
Because we've got a neighbor.
Mike's interested in your book.
One that don't might be able to borrow this and bring it back. I work up in Crawfordsville and live in Greencastle.
Yeah.
Could I give you my card so you have my phone number? I can drop off here at the library for you to pick up.
Good.
Yeah, can I have a sign-up sheet? Whatever you want to.
Yeah,
Or you
great
can
idea.
drop it off at David's, you know, where David's greenhouse.
What's our first flight for tonight?
Let me write this
If
down.
you don't, I mean, I'm retired from there, but it's still you can still leave it there or, you know.
Okay.
You do too, David Davidson.
This is my friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, I probably saw you there, maybe that's the only place, I don't know.
It's like you take one down the road south out of Dallas, so like comes into Ladoga.
This is Irving. Then we picked it there.
Yeah, that's a really good share. We'll send you some links about it. One of us is
That's my cousin.
Terry, where'd we leave off last time? Where'd we leave off last time? We talked about the flood. Did we talk about the Mahorny reunion?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Oh, we were talking about farm stuff. That's kind of where we cut off.
Yeah,
right?
it was, right.
Yep.
We did that. We saw it, but it was quick.
Okay.
We didn't see this.
Okay. Maybe we start here again
That
and
sounds
just let
good.
him start there.
She's still.
Good starting place.
Yeah,
That work?
definitely homestead east of Ladoga before 1925. He did.
That he'll know.
Now, he was married to Nanny once, and then they had to annul it.
Yeah.
Because they were first cousins.
So what do you know? How was your day? That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
Worked in the shop.
I'm excited we might find that Gilding stuff, Gilding's
And
notes.
I found very. And I asked them, they had it annulled.
Hey, Bill, what does AW stand for?
It was like after.
Alfred Walsh.
That's pretty good. Give an email.
What were you guessing?
I didn't know, but I said to Alan, it doesn't matter. Bill will know.
I'm trying to decide if I misspelled separated. Is that a S-E-P-E-R?
No, that's right.
Is that right?
It is. Because I spell it wrong every time and it tells me that's
You
the
spell
right
it?
way.
You're not related to Jim Klein, right? This is my husband Alex.
I know, Mike Rogers. Mike, nice to meet you. I don't know what.
I don't know how I did it. That was very-
Oh, you want to hear some exciting news?
Yes.
We are getting a new website. When we get our new website, we will have a dedicated page for history. And I'll get one of my girls on adding your slideshow and your pictures and putting in as much commentary as we can. So,
Good.
very-
So Bill, did you inherit canes from Thomas at Thomas Park?
Did. Put it down.
Well, I think after his wife died, right?
Three as by marriage, I think.
Well, my son's got, it was mother's, and then when I gave it to my son, he's got the yes. Thomas, yes.
Are we ready?
Ready when you are.
Ready, ready.
His mom's house. And he just. And Dan just lost his wife.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you all. We'll start we got a little bit of business that we need to take care of before we get started. Have you got those to pass out?
I do, put them up here.
Terry has some sheets to pass out that you can kind of
Hey, Vicki.
explain those, Terry.
So I put this together and there's one more link I want to get for you. But here's a list of links that I think if you had fun here, you might like these. So Bill has the Streets of Ladoga. There's the Peffley book. I found the Peffley book online.
Mm-hmm.
There's one copy here at the library. But if you have a phone, you can take the Peffley book with you anywhere you go.
Awesome.
So it's online. And then Brian found on YouTube when Jim Tribby was teaching the high schoolers about what he went through in the war. And Brian says it's good, it's really good, but he cleaned it up a little for the kids.
Yes, he did.
Jim cleaned it up or you cleaned it?
No, Jim did.
Yeah.
And when you see this, it's about an hour and 45 minutes, okay? And it's Jim Tribby speaking to the history class at Southmont, okay? And it's about 1985 or 87, somewhere in that neighborhood, okay? At any rate, he's in uniform and he's speaking to the class, and it was videotaped on VCR tape, and somebody sat down and played it on a TV and recorded it to YouTube. Okay? So it's a little bit grainy, but his voice is very clear.
Yeah,
and,
comes through real good.
yeah, it comes through really good. He's dressed in his military uniform, and he speaks of Bataan and things that went on there. And
He probably couldn't get into great detail, could he?
Pardon me?
Could he get into great detail around those kids?
No,
Yeah.
not like he did me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you want to go on with
Let's,
this.
this is Brian
Anyway,
Hedge,
it's
by the
very
way,
good.
and he's going to talk about Jim Tribby in just a minute. But
I'm gonna pass this around. If you give me your email address, I'll send you the links and you won't have to type them in.
yeah, that'd be
But
a lot
if you don't
easier.
want to share your email address, then take one of these. So, and it's missing a link that I want you to have. So.
Can I add to it? I'm gonna add a little box over here. If you would like to get the Ladoga Library e-newsletter, and that would just keep you up to date. We'll tell you about this kind of stuff when it's coming up, things like that.
And I have a great idea. I ran it by Bill. He hasn't said he'll do it, but I think we can talk him into it. I want to do a driving tour of the history of Ladoga, and I have a friend who has a 20-passenger bus, which would be fun. We could go and look at the cemetery, and we could do it in the spring when it's warm, or the summer. And wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun.
So we could drive around and look at all the stuff.
And Terry, I got your call, but I got it in court with my family.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
So, I didn't get back to you.
That's all right.
I love it
Okay, Brian, give us 10 minutes of Jim Tribby.
Well, I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes. Because, but at any rate, I'm very fond of the man. Okay. He was my next door neighbor. Okay. Back in 1971 when my family moved to Ladoga. I was about 12 years old at that time. Okay. But later on in the 70s, he was an electrician here in town. and I went to work for him. He hired me to help him out as an electrician. He taught me everything that I happen to know about household wiring and whatnot. He was a great mentor for me, okay? And during that time period in which I worked for him, I knew he'd been in the service, okay? But I had no idea what he had actually lived through, okay? And while I was working for him and riding around in his pickup truck, he started to tell me a lot of things that happened in.
Was he reluctant to talk about the death march, Brian?
I think at that time he was just starting to open up. I think he held it in for a long, long time, okay? He never talked about it. He had that PS. We talked about it.
PTSD.
Yeah.
They call it shell shock back then.
Right.
They called it shell shock.
And there was, I mean, they didn't know what, I mean, they didn't know anything then, but they a lot more now, but that's what he had. And he told me of stories where he would wake up in the middle of the night and think Edna, his wife, laying right next to him, he's Japanese,
Yeah.
okay. And he woke up yelling and screaming and fighting. And, but anyway, as I worked with him, he started to tell stories of it. And he was quite graphic in his explanations to me. And I thought, man, you need to tell someone. And a few years later, that would have been in 75, 6, 7 that I worked for him. And it wasn't until about the 80s, mid 80s, that he actually went to Southmont and started. I mean, he was really open about it then. But like I said, there's a video of it, okay, of him talking to his students, and he's very military-like and very. He speaks very well, but he cleaned it up.
And he held those kids' attention for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yes.
Who was the history teacher?
Bruner.
Bruner.
Dick Bruner.
Dick
Was the,
Bruner.
Yeah, he introduces him and everything. But anyway, I didn't know. I watched that in its entirety. I heard little bits and clips of Jim, but when he spoke then I kind of put the timeline together. I didn't know how it all flowed, but anyway, quite a hero.
Yeah.
And he was a Purple Star recipient. Okay, and he had a lot of problems. He went once a month to Rantoul Air Force Base. Once a month he went over there to have his feet were terrible. He had, obviously, the Japanese had tortured him to the point where his toenails had to be ground down with grinders. Okay, they didn't trim them, they grind them down. He had no arches in his feet. They custom made soles, inserts, and shoes for him. He had very good boots. The military really took care of him. I mean, he had very excellent work boots and dress boots. They had to be high because his ankles were loose.
Yeah.
But he was an electrician here in town, and he would climb a step ladder, but he wouldn't climb an extension ladder. Couldn't stand
Couldn't stand on that.
Had they broken his ankles or something?
What they did, well, they tortured him constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in constant torture. He told me that he thought that one of the reasons, God was really watching out over him, okay? But he was a big man when he went into the service. When he was first captured, he was a big man. And he was also older than all the rest of the soldiers, okay? And so they made an example out of him, okay? Constantly. And he told one time that they tied him to a stake, hands behind his back. He's out in the middle of the courtyard. It's hot, humid, okay? and he got caught doing something, so they tortured him. They tied him to the stake. They put like a 200-pound sack of sugar over his back, shoulders, and his neck, and he stood there like that. And every hour or so, the guard would come around, take a butt of his rifle and smash his feet. Okay, and I mean, just obliterate him, you know, just to make an example out of it. He told me, he says, you cannot believe, I'll never forget this. He says, you cannot imagine how one human being, such as the Japanese, could treat another human being. It's just absolutely unspeakable. Okay. He says, you can't imagine what a man will go through to stay alive.
Yeah.
What you will do to stay alive. And he talked, I won't get into it because it's pretty graphic, okay? Yeah, cool. But for a man to stay alive for 300 and some odd days, and he was, no, it's more than that. It was like 1,200 days. He was over 3 years, 3.5 years he was a prisoner of war. And he wasn't only a prisoner of war once, it was a couple times, because he told of a story. He didn't tell this in the story that he told the students, but he told me he was shot down. He was in like a B-17 or something, okay? And they were on some kind of mission. And he said, there's only 2 times I ever jumped out of a plane. He said, one was in training. They took us up and he just shoved you out the door and said, pull the cord. And he said, the second time, he goes, I had to jump out. They were on a training mission or some kind, and some Japanese Zeros. This was before Pearl Harbor, okay? He was in the service long before Pearl Harbor, okay?
I knew he was.
And so the only way the B-17 could get away from the Zero was to climb altitude, okay? Couldn't outrun him. So they climbed altitude, okay? The Zero couldn't go as high. They didn't have oxygen and cabin pressure, but they shot the plane and it riddled the cabin and they lost cabin pressure, and his eardrums, everybody's eardrum, pow, blew his eardrums. That was another thing that he lived with for the rest of his life. He couldn't hardly hear thunder, okay? But blew his eardrums out, and the pilot said, you guys got to get out of here. So the crew jumped out. They were behind enemy lines, okay? And the plane went down with the pilot. He waited until all the guys got out. They landed behind enemy lines. They were captured by the Japanese. They saw them coming down their parachutes. And I guess they were captive for a couple days or nights, and then he escapes, okay? And they ran off and got back to their unit or got into friendly places, but he jumped out of a plane and blew his eardrums out.
Well, Brian, thanks a lot. And hey, that is well worth your hour to watch that on
It is
on YouTube.
Guys,
And Terry gave you the link to look at. And I was watching Jeopardy last night, and one of the answers to the question was, what was the USS Indianapolis? You know, we just were talking about that. I can't remember what the question was. I remember the answer, not the question. Okay, now, Megan, am I ready to go? Which?
Ready to go.
Okay.
Click on your arrows.
And we're on YouTube.
You are.
Okay.
At least I think so.
And I'm right arrow and left arrow?
Yep.
Okay. This I've got a few old farm pictures just to show you the difference between how the farming has changed. That's my great grandfather's separator. And if you can imagine, all of those pulleys and all of those belts and everything turned some kind of a thing inside there to shake that wheat to where it separates the wheat from the chaff. And so that's one of the pictures. And this is just a big machine that he had. I don't remember these, obviously. That's my grandpa on his tractor. Can you imagine taking that to the field? And now Zachariah Mahorny, an engine made only by Nichols and Shepard, is sold by Zach Mahorny and Son. So there's a Mahorny connection that we've been looking at. And there's a picture of the separator. And here you see Howard Klein, John Ronkin, Carl Klein. Can't exactly see. It must have some kind of a pull type threshing machine. And this is another picture of some of the guys working on the farm there. Evidently, they had a sawmill also, which, of course, they had to do all of their own sawmill and sawing woods and stuff like that. This is a picture of Samuel Tilford. And Samuel Tilford was in the Union Army during the Civil War, and he happened to go to see the American Cousin at the Ford Theater and was close to where Lincoln was when he got shot.
And
So
he was from Ladoga?
he was from Ladoga, yes. And he originally said that he was one of the people that carried Lincoln across the street in a stretcher to the place where he died. But then when somebody said, no, you weren't there, he took that back. You always try to make the story a little bit better, but Samuel Tilford wasn't there, but he was at the theater. And this is just the funeral train. Started in Washington, D.C. and ended up in Springfield, Illinois, where Lincoln was buried. And I always wondered if that went through Ladoga, and I don't think it did, because you can see the route from Indianapolis to went through Lebanon, from Indianapolis to Michigan City, went through Lebanon and Hazel Rig and Whitestown.
There's a big 4 trail from Colfax to Thorntown. There's a bike trail now.
Oh, really?
I've been down it, and it is the rail that Lincoln took to inauguration.
Oh, so there's some signs there that tell
The
you.
rail he took going home.
Yeah. So you can see how far it took about, what, 2 weeks for the body to get there. And I read someplace this afternoon they had to do some embalming every time they stopped. Why would?
I've seen that.
It'd be a long trip.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Well,
old
the
jugger
people-
he was
the
riding
people-
in going about 22
The
miles.
people
an hour.
lined the railway.
Oh yeah, there was they were. And this was at I think Michigan City. They have a plaque there commemorating the Lincoln funeral procession, and there's a Monon caboose in the background there. So I'm guessing that from Indianapolis to Michigan City, he might have gone on the Monon, which the Monon goes that route, doesn't it? Because the Monon goes went from Chicago down through Ladoga and then went from Michigan City to Indianapolis. Now here's the mystery now, folks. Okay, I'll read this to you. After discovering a hidden message by Lafayette Baker, head of the National Detective Police, in an old military magazine, Neff's discoveries led him to Ladoga, Indiana. Now this is a guy investigating the Lincoln assassination and all of the things. You know, the conspiracy theory didn't start with JFK. There's always been conspiracy theories. Part of the conspiracy theory of the Lincoln assassination is that it wasn't really John Wilkes Booth that killed him. They killed somebody in this tobacco barn, and they might have killed John Wilkes Booth in the tobacco barn, but everyone said then that this was not the guy who shot Lincoln. It was not John Wilkes Booth, it was somebody else. So anyway, after the discovery became public, Guthridge and Neff became partners in a project that was originally about Baker. Neff, 81, is a retired Indiana State University professor who resides in Marshall, Illinois with his wife. Guthridge at Alexandria, Virginia, was a member of the British Royal Air Force and worked at the Indian Embassy as a librarian. He eventually quit to become a full-time professional writer. Now, what I've got underlined there, it was in rural Indiana, Ladoga, that Neff found what he considers a valuable treasure trove of Lincoln assassination investigation history. A search that covered a decade revealed information about Earl Potter, who managed Baker's NDP, originally from Virginia. He worked as a tracer of missing goods for a Norfolk shipping company before working with the NDP. His younger half-brother Andrew ran the NDP Secret Service division. Shortly after the end of the Civil War, the two Potters moved sensitive NDP files, reports, and correspondence out of Washington, D.C. and into the Ladoga area. Now, you know, where is it? Where did it end up? What were they looking for? And this is just, if you want to look it up, the two keys are the Potter papers. And I looked at that a little bit, and there's so much Harry Potter stuff on there that you the Potter papers and the Dark, what was it? Dark Union or something like that. Here's a note. You can read that yourself. This is kind of a resume of what I just read. Oh, Dark Union. The two key words to look up are Dark Union. These guys wrote a book and they entitled it Dark Union, indicating that there was some kind of a conspiracy surrounding the Lincoln assassination. You know, just like the JFK assassination.
There was a conspiracy that started Lincoln into the presidential race.
Yeah, yeah.
You ever get out to Springfield, go to the museum?
Springfield, Illinois?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Is there a bunch of the assassination stuff and conspiracy theories?
Yeah, all about it. Yeah. He was actually a third party in that first election. That's where the Republican Party started.
Yeah.
He was a third party. And there was a group of men out of Washington, D.C. at that time, said, "Oh, we'll get that old boy from out here in Illinois. We'll drag him up here. We'll make him president. And he'll have to take the burden of the Civil War." Well, he ended up being a moderate Civil War.
Yeah, yeah.
When we talked about it.
So there it all is. If you want to look for the Potter Papers or Dark Union, these guys wrote the book and they entitled the book Dark Union. So you can buy that on Amazon, by the way. I haven't bought it yet. I did that for Christmas. Yeah. And then we skipped completely across country and back to good old Ladoga, Indiana. I don't know what all that stuff that ended up in Ladoga or where it ended up, or you know?
No, I don't. No, I don't know at all. And I doubt this has anything. I really heard, which I'm
Sure.
he apparently collected a lot of Lincoln memorabilia. I don't know anything to do with the assassination. But the reason I say that is years ago when our kids were little, we went to the Lincoln Boyhood Home in Southern Indiana. And in the museum, they had items that were donated by Brimley Hurd.
Oh, really?
Brimley Hurd's family.
Now he's a local guy, isn't he? Brimley Hurd?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's from Crawfordsville?
So apparently he had an interest in collecting Lincoln memorabilia.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Okay. So we skip back to Ladoga, and this is Memorial Day, and I'm not exactly sure what year it is, but I do know that little restaurant there that has the Coca-Cola sign was not operating when I was growing up in the 50s. So I'm guessing that this is late 30s, early 40s. And you'll see a picture of a car here. The cars look like late 30s, early 40s, something like that. You guys that know cars better than I do. I had a 38 Chevy once, and it looked a lot like that car right in the middle. And also on the end here, this was Patterson's Motor Sales. When I was growing up, that was Baus Drugstore. Yeah. So this had to be before now, and you can see the drugstore is a couple of doors down. Maybe, let's see, is this the this is the hardware store. So next to it, I think before Bernie Baus took over the drugstore, was Gottschall's drugstore. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Gottschall? Gottschall was the undertaker. I think
I remember Charlie Patterson.
Do you remember Patterson's? Yep. Yeah, Margaret was Sam Kessler's sister. Right.
Yeah. I bought my first car off of Charlie.
Did you?
50
And
plate.
Bill, before Baus come down to the corner there was a restaurant in there. And you said, what was the name of that restaurant?
Chicken Shack.
What was it? Chicken Shack. You mean next door
right
to
the corner?
Right there on the corner.
On the corner.
Yeah.
That was before me.
People piled up there.
No, it'd been after you, because I remember it.
The only thing I remember on the corner was Baus's drugstore. So I don't remember anything there except the drugstore. And you remember Patterson's. I remember that Patterson had a used car.
Yeah, Patterson, that was their showroom right there in front.
Yeah.
You go down to the north, down the side of that building, there's a big overhead door.
Okay.
The door that moved.
Okay.
Anyway, that's where he moved his cars in and out. Yeah. And they even had a service place in there where you could get oil change.
Okay. And this is a Masonic initiation, and it. I know some of the guys. I don't know whether you folks will recognize them or not. This is Jim Harshbarger, not Jim Harshbarger. Jimmy David's son or father. Is that Bob? You're too young. Frank Nichols, Delmas Chadwick from New Ross, Darrell Van Cleve from here in Ladoga, Bill Gerald, Larry Nicholson. The other guys, I think, are probably associated with the Masons who were doing the initiation.
We have some boxes of memorabilia from the lodge too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
From the
library.
Masonic Lodge?
Bill, what year is that?
Well, it says 1856.
Love Harshbarger's son.
Yeah, it does say
Love-
100th
Yes,
anniversary.
yes.
It says
Which one is that, Larry? Is that Bob or Jim?
Both, and Tom, remember Tommy Harshbarger?
Yeah. Were they all brothers? Bob and,
Yeah,
okay.
Love Harshbarger,
And they were Love's sons.
Love's sons.
Now, didn't she have a restaurant in Ladoga at one
Yeah,
time?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit better picture of them. And I just put this in there to, do you remember the fountain that was on the corner there for so long that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that that's an early 50s from the look of the car, maybe late 40s, early 50s. Charlie Beinhammer's shoe store, and somebody who brought me a picture of, yeah, you did. You had a picture of an advertisement. I tried to read I think it's 19.
Legends of the Foxwood, Legends of Holly, our treasurer. That's in Bonneville.
Bill, do you remember Andy's shoe shop?
Yes, I did. I do. But Beinhammer's, I can't remember exactly where this was. Anybody have? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, just look at that. Might have could have been the old hardware building.
It could have been. And these are some names that we've looked at earlier. There you see RAF has gone to motor cars now, high-grade vehicles. Kerry Robbins would have been Chet Weiss's aunt. John Stanley started the phone company and also was insurance agent. Allmeyer's Bakery, we looked at that. That's just an old.
The Carrie Robbins, I think Brett built the canning factory where her hat shop was.
Okay.
That's why.
That's right.
That's why he put it there.
Okay. And we get into a little baseball right in the middle. This is one of our two Major League Baseball players, Eddie Summers. And he was quite the pitcher. He was the first ambidextrous pitcher in baseball history. About 2 years ago, there was a guy that played for the Tigers, and they said he was the Major League Baseball's first amphibious pitcher. That's it. He throws the ball underwater, right? But he was far from the first, because this is the Ladoga Leaders, and this was taken right down the street here. What street is this? Franklin. That's the Cottage Hotel.
Hey, so that fixes your why were they called the Leaders the other day? Remember?
Yeah.
We were doing the baseball thing.
The Ladoga Leader was the newspaper. The Leaders was the baseball team, and they also someplace manufactured cigars in Ladoga and called them the Leaders. So that's been something that kind of stuck.
Did you ever see the memorial? It's not Ladoga, but Niceville, the Three Fingers Mordecai.
Mordecai Brown,
That's
right?
a heck of a memorial.
Yes, it is. So if you guys want to give some money, we'll do something for Eddie Summers. He's buried out at the Ladoga Cemetery. So there he is in the middle, and if you're a baseball fan at all, you'll recognize a couple of those. Ty Cobb is the first player from the left, and he was injured one afternoon, and Eddie Summers had to pinch hit for him, hit a home run, probably the only guy that ever pinch hit for Ty Cobb and hit a home run. But Eddie Summers, he's a big man, and there are at least 3 Hall of Famers in there.
Who did he play for?
Tigers. He played 3 years for the Tigers. I think I've got a baseball card of his that I don't have it personally, but I think I've got a picture of it. There you go. 08, 09, and 10. He was 24 and 12 in 1908. So that's pretty good. I get, if you're a baseball fan, again, if you're not, well, just bear with me. I guess right-handed, he really threw the ball hard. Left-handed, he threw a lot of junk. But he threw from both sides. And there's Eddie Summers up there. Well, he's right in the middle. This guy right here. And they are the American League champions in 1909. Lost to the Cubs. I think he lost 2 games that year, in that World Series. So Cubs were pretty good. And there's the other guy. Now, does the name Warren Darst ring a bell with you at all? Warren Darst was the one who started the Ladoga Normal, who took the Ladoga Normal from Ladoga to Danville. Now, why this guy's name is Warren Darst Gill, there must have been, his mother must have been really good friends with the other guy named Warren Darst. So Warren Darst Gill played 1 year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And there's some guys that I know you don't remember, but here's a couple of Stricklers. This is Ike Strickler, Bill's dad, and this is what was Ike's brother's name? He had two brothers. Buren was the oldest one. What's the young? This is the guy who started the canning factory down there across from the baseball field. They were Juicy and Toonie and Ike. Everybody had nicknames in those days. Yeah. Ike was the janitor, right? This is a guy that ran the Buren was the oldest one. He's not in this picture. This guy here is a Newmarket guy. This is Casey Powers. Anybody remember Steve Powers? He pitched for Newmarket. This is his daddy. This is Archie Chad. Archie Chad went to Butler and became a Hall of Famer. After he left Butler, he went to Anderson College, won a state tournament once. And this is Bruce Stahl. Anybody? Dick Stahl, Bob Stahl, Jim Oakley. Yep. This is Bruce. Nanny Quinley went to Purdue and played baseball. And the next picture has some names, and that was the best that Chet Weiss could do. Bruce Stahl, the guy in the hat, the coach is Bill Cochran. And these are guys that would have played in the old Hughes baseball field down over the hill from the old Normal. And this is a wagon bridge that goes across, what's the street that goes by the old Normal? Harrison. Goes from Harrison to Hughes Field, to Hughes Park. So, and these are, I'm sure a couple of these are the Hughes sisters, because they're the ones that had the pictures. And this is our good old baseball field. Boy, I cannot believe how rough that baseball field was. And that's David French is the pitcher.
You remember scalping that every spring?
My goodness. I remember the team, it was a pick up the rocks day. And you walked all the way across the field and picked up rocks, and you'd end up
Greater runs from the canning factory.
end up with a.
Was David French close to going pro?
No.
No. I just heard he was real good, and
He was real good, but no.
could have went pro.
If you really think about how good you have to be in the pros, there's and only two of the guys from Ladoga ever made it. This is me right here squatting down like I'm a catcher. I was trying to practice being a catcher. That's Tommy Zimmerman, two guys over. Charlie McKenzie is in the middle. Keith Todd is out at shortstop. That's the way he always stood. I could have picked him out anytime, any day. He never would get down into a fielding position. That's the way he always looked. So this is our old baseball field. And even the girls played. You recognize any of these? There's Sandy and Maybeth Todd. And there's Renee French. Renee French and Carol French and Bert. Ashley, is that Bert? This one right here.
In the front row there.
No, I don't think that's her.
I believe it is.
You think, I can't see.
Well, you can come up here and look. This is Betty Jeffries. I don't know this girl. That's Edmay Oakley.
Nobody can see it.
Nobody can see it when I'm standing there, honey. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. No, that's not her.
That's not Bert?
Uh-uh.
Is it her sister? Is it Betty?
No, it's not Betty.
Betty.
Okay.
Do you know about what year that was?
And this is John Stahl's body shop there. We played baseball on the back street, and that's me. I was afraid of the ball even then. And that's my dad is catching. Houston Gerald is the pitcher. And we had a baseball
Houston
game.
Bill's dad?
Pardon?
Is that Bill's dad?
Yeah, it's Bill's dad.
Dan.
And it's a basketball game, and this is how basketball used to be in the old days. The crowd, there was always a crowd there. And what I like the best is the kids that are there. Right there's Tommy Todd. There's the Perkins boys, Steve and David. There's Dale and Lita Fay. There's Forrest Allen Scott and what was her name?
Janet and Jerry.
Janet and Jerry, right? There's Homer Todd and Marilyn. There's Dale Perkins, Bob Reed, Don Myers, Everybody went to the ball games.
What team are we playing?
We are playing Harry E. Wood out of Indianapolis.
They took the Manual building.
Pardon?
Old Manual building.
Yeah.
Built a new Manual High School.
Harry E. Wood School.
Harry Wood.
Yeah.
That's some good teams later on.
They were good.
What year did they bring the Christmas Addicts out to Ladoga?
Christmas Addicts never played at Ladoga. We played them at, when I was in the 8th grade, they played at Crawfordsville. And then in the 9th grade, they played at Indianapolis Tech. That was when I was a freshman that year. Hallie Bryant was the big scorer. Scored 43 points that night. He scored 45. Ladoga scored 43. And we only got 2 of those because the referees lined us up wrong to start the game. And they tipped the ball to Hallie Bryant. He made the basket in our basket. So Ladoga's had 2-0. We should have called it right there.
That night, those guys come out of the locker room. I was just a kid, but I can remember. And they looked like trees.
Oh, yeah.
6'4", 6'6", 6'8".
Every single one of them, when we played them at Tech, every single one of them could dunk the ball. So when they came out to do their warm-ups, all of the Ladoga guys turned around and watched. It was unbelievable.
The statue of Oscar Roberts put out at Christmas Addicts.
Is it at the high school, at Christmas Addicts High School?
Yeah.
And then
They
my,
showed it on TV this last week.
yeah,
So
great guy. He gave his daughter a kidney. That's the kind of a guy Oscar Roberts is.
Yeah. Great.
see the one that
Yeah, no, they never played at Ladoga.
They played Ladoga.
Played Ladoga first at Crawfordsville,
3 times.
then at Tech, and then back at Crawfordsville my sophomore year.
I thought there was somebody famous who played on the Ladoga gym.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
Made their plans.
See,
He really did.
Ladoga would only have
Come
held
in
about
different doors.
1,200 people.
Made their plans come in a different door.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I remember very vividly, I was guarded by their center named Shedrick Mitchell. And for some reason or other, I made a basket. Going back down the floor, he said, "Little old white boy, you ain't gonna do that no more." And he was right. And you know, I didn't even think a thing about it being racist. You know, we were playing a black team out of Indianapolis, and we thought we could beat them. That's how. Oh my God, Hallie Bryant went with the Globetrotters. So
Didn't the Globetrotters play here in Ladoga one time?
they might have. I don't remember.
I remember them being down here.
Harlem, the Harlem Magic.
Harlem Magic. Yeah.
Marcus Haynes and Goose Tatum.
Goose Tatum. Right.
After they retired from the Globetrotters.
They came with the Harlem Magic. Interesting.
And I remember them just toying
Oh,
with
they were-
everybody.
oh.
I mean,
Played the
they
Washington
just
Generals.
toyed with them.
Yeah. This house is still standing now that where Claude and Audrey Barker live. They still live there, the Barkers?
No,
They're
they're
in
in
nursing
nursing
home.
home. But hey, we talked about this last time. Well, the Bensons live there, and I emailed her this evening and copied you on it and told her that you had pictures or stuff that she might be interested in.
That's Corb Goodbar. And, you know, the horse and buggy was really there. Fred Long was the mailman.
Maybe Long Sparks is,
That house is still on, let's see, where is that? Where's that, Larry? This,
that's maybe Long Sparks is, dad, I guess, Fred Long,
okay.
yeah.
And he lived in that house right behind him,
Yeah,
and the house is
right
still
on,
there. Yeah.
Elm Street.
Are you on Montgomery County history?
Going to Rackenfeller.
Pardon?
Are you on Montgomery County history?
Yeah.
They've been showing some of the mail routes. can't
I
believe
saw that
how
one
long-
from, yeah,
How long they
the
are.
one from Darlington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a horse, you know.
And there's Jerry and Joe, and they've got a goat wagon there. They're ready for a ride. Sunday afternoon in Ladoga, to take your best girl out for a ride in a buggy. I think they ended up getting married. The Kyle house is just down there on Washington Street. I've got several pictures of that. And this is Robert Reed, Judy Gosshorn and Gary Reed, about 1910. This is the Prosser's barn. That would have been Logan Ronk's barn at that time, but when I grew up, it was part. You can see the arches over the windows, which indicates that it wasn't a barn to start with, but it was a church. If it hadn't been for the Monon Railroad, Ladoga would have looked like Parkersburg. So this is Parkersburg at the spring, and they finally closed that up, I guess.
My grandpa built that spring.
Is that right?
He worked for the state highway.
So
And built
there's,
that, I think in the 30s.
yeah. But they condemned it, I guess, as it being,
Because the
yes,
water not
yeah, the water is not fit to drink. And it had a little store there, a little merchandise store. Here's Ladoga's bicycles getting ready for a ride. I see a lot of names there that I recognize that are Ladoga names. There's a bicycle built for two there. Looks like two gentlemen are ready to go for a bike ride. There's the FJO. That is just right straight across the street where the bank is. Fanny, Johnny, and Owen. That was the little restaurant there. This is the cleanup day. Carrie Robbins. Now we saw it. We saw Carrie Robbins's name on that flyer that the guy. Again, that's Chet Weiss's aunt or grandmother. No,
It's a
Weiss.
relative of Anita Weiss was a Robbins.
Anita Weiss was Robbins. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this is the town cleanup. I think this picture's over at the bank.
Yeah.
This is John Light's repair shop, and that's just right down past where the bank is. I think I showed this picture before with Scotland Park's tennis court. This is the Kessler home up on Main Street, going out of town. John and Minnie. John and Minnie.
Steve Kessler's grandparents.
Okay.
Where's that house out? I don't know which one it was.
I'm not sure that house is.
There's a home there now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think are those houses gone now? Or
That one is.
that one is
Yeah,
What street?
right on Main.
right on Main Street as you're going out of town. Right across from.
Morrison's, next door to Morrison's house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good Morrison.
And these are pictures of the Hughes house. Again, the Hughes sisters kept a lot of old pictures, and so this is one of the original. I suspect that's Charlie Hughes right there standing by the buggy. Probably his
Is he
father.
an attorney here in town?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that this is Charlie's dad right there, and that's Charlie. That's one of the older houses in town and still in great shape. There's a little
Where's
bit of
that at?
history about it.
Where's that house at?
Oh, okay.
It's 2 doors down from the normal. Isn't it?
2 doors north.
2 doors north of the normal.
Kex lives.
Okay.
And there's another picture of it. In the winter, it's beginning to look about like it looks now.
There you go.
Yeah, there.
Now I recognize.
Yeah.
Now you can
Looks
recognize
familiar.
it.
Usually Hughes lived there.
Right. She had a sister. The 2 sisters lived there for a while. Those Charlie's nieces,
Sisters.
sisters?
Sisters.
Okay.
I mowed that yard when I was a kid.
Is that right?
$4.
$4. Well, that was a good
A
wages.
lot of yard there too.
This is a lot more like what it looks like now.
There you go,
And there.
23.
And the pictures now are kind of discombobulated. I'm not sure what order they're in. I know the boys. I don't know the girls. Can you help me with the girls? Anybody? This would be the class of 49.
Some of them.
Some of them.
We were talking about the lipstick.
Where's that room at? Is that in the high school?
That was the old study hall, the old assembly. Yeah, the study hall.
Maybe of course.
I know this is a Jeffries here, and that's Dickerson back there, and a Brown. She married Dorman Rogers. Dave Bryan. I posted this on Facebook, and somebody said Dave Bryan was my daddy. So that's always neat.
Was that suited or?
Bill,
no,
Bill,
Susan.
that room you're in there, wasn't there a stage in the front of that room?
You know, I
And
don't
they turned it
remember
to a
that.
library.
The one we were in, the library was on that stage.
Yeah.
The library was on that stage.
Oh, is that
You could
right?
tell it'd been a stage.
Well, there was a raised area where they had a teacher's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
raised
Mr.
up.
Bays fell off of that. I think Phil Sleep fell off of that.
Did they must have put a stage there after 56 because it was just a study hall in 56.
But you could tell from the woodwork. I guess.
Yeah.
You could tell
The
from
the stage was the library when we were in
Yeah.
high school.
Looked like it
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
looked like
Okay.
it had been a stage.
And then they put the library in the back of the room
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah, there was a stage. We were,
It was still, the library was still up there in 64.
but you could see the
Was
formation.
it?
You could
Yeah.
See the formation of the stage.
It's one of the early basketball teams.
Uh-huh.
Sherman Kessler over here on this right side. He's the one that donated the picture. I think that's probably taken outside the. I put this one up there. This is the old gym that was. You come through the tunnel going to the high school from the grade school to the high school,
Oh,
and then you just walked right past the furnace room and right into this old gym, and it had wainscoting all the way around the side of it. And The scoreboard, of course, is.
Is that what they turned into classrooms in?
Yes, yes.
Science.
Now, when I was in elementary school, we used to go with that, our phys ed was to go over to the old gym and shoot baskets. And boy, that was a big deal. By that time, it was a cement floor, though. They didn't have any, wasn't hardwood.
Fell on it, harder rock.
Yeah, right.
So it originally had a hardwood floor.
It originally had a hardwood floor, right? Right. And I think they must have,
How about the cafeteria, Bill? Was it part of that gymnasium?
the cafeteria, when they made the gymnasium into classrooms, as I remember, the farthest east on the south side was the music room.
Yeah.
And then on the other side was the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And then the first room that you went to would have been the chemistry room.
Yeah.
In other words, as they took the old gym apart. And then the second one was an English classroom. That's where, and then on the other, I think on the other side was all cafeteria.
All cafeteria.
Yeah. And then you went up the stairs to go to the new gym.
Yeah. Or if you, as you went up the stairs, if you turn left on that stairway, you went up.
Went back upstairs into the main building, right?
There was an agricultural room down somewhere.
There was what?
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
Right,
was at the
right.
west end of the tunnel.
Now that would have been just off the tunnel going back to the elementary.
Just off the tunnel.
Yeah.
Then it moved down to the, what would be the southeast corner. There was a little room off that study hall. That was the last ag room that I remember.
Okay.
I remember, just off the tunnel was the girls' restroom.
Yes.
Off to the right, as you're going back to the,
As you're
Well, if
going,
you're coming out of the tunnel from.
as you're coming out of the tunnel, going back to the elementary.
no, going to the high school.
Going into the high school.
Okay.
Is on the left-hand side.
There's the Vice Boys.
That's Rose.
David told me, Rose Boys, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They-
it looks like Rose.
David told me the other day, he said, we've lost the bookends. The oldest and the youngest are gone. What did they say? Is it Gail was the oldest?
Yeah.
No, Tom was the oldest.
Tom was the
Gail
oldest.
was the
Then
youngest.
then David?
Gail's youngest.
Gail's the youngest?
Yes.
So it'd be Tom, David, who's the third one? Dan?
Keith.
Okay,
I think COVID got him, didn't
great picture.
it? I know COVID got Gail.
This is the old switchboard. And see that Babe Todd and Marilyn Sandusky? And there's Grace Carter and Babe Todd and Lois Walton.
Yeah.
I could always pick up the phone when my Aunt Carolyn used to work at the telephone office. I could always pick up the phone and say, Aunt Carolyn, where's my mom? She always knew. And it was just, the old switchboard was just such an amazing thing. And that would be, see, this building would have been what, next to the hardware?
Yeah, somewhere.
It was- Where the switchboard was, is it
Was it upstairs?
upstairs.
What?
There's a little
Switchboard.
hallway.
It's on the ground floor.
Yeah, I thought it was on the ground floor.
It's on the
Yeah, I
ground
thought
floor.
it was too.
I-
Where, maybe it's where Odell's,
No, it's on down past Odell.
past that.
It would have been the first door past the hardware, I
I
think.
think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The JC's had something up there.
Yeah, the JC, that they always told me that the switchboard was right across the road, across the room. from
No, it was
where the
it was
JC's
downstairs,
made.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, maybe it was then.
It was next to the hardware.
You know that guy?
Wayne Miller.
He used to drive that around the ballpark. This is where I used to live, right? That old building was a garage where my grandpa Peffley had the little motor shop, and he could repair anything that moved, whether it was electric or whether it was motor or whether it was whatever.
I got an audio tape of him and my dad talking on the phone about war stories.
Oh, I'll bet. That's something.
It's strange to hear their voices come on.
This little midget race car used to sit in that building when they weren't driving it, and I must have sat in that for 1,000 hours driving around the 500-mile race. You know, it was.
Go to Jungle Park in.
They did race it once. Now this was one of my dad's get rich quick schemes. He was certain that they were going to get enough money that they could finally end up at the 500 and win the 500. So they raced it at Jungle Park.
Yeah.
And you remember that? You don't remember the name Leroy Warner? He was the one guy, the professional driver that they hired to drive the car. Now Red doesn't have any legs. You know, he's sitting in this midget, and he driving it. He lost both legs in the war.
Yeah. They used to sit on his lap, tap on his lap.
Great guy.
You
just,
told me there's one curve down there, Jungle Park. If you missed it, you went out in the creek.
oh, absolutely. We were down there one day when a guy jumped the fence and went down into, what would it be? Not Sugar.
Sugar.
Okay, here's my last shot at you folks. These are the little towns. Connettsville is still called Connettsville, and you know where that is. Carrollton, that would have been,
Out by Inlow Cemetery.
yeah, Inlow Cemetery is on the
That's
New
where
Ross
my
Road.
great-grandfather, Stephen Kincaid, was.
Well, where is it from the cemetery?
But I think that little village was, the
Behind,
cemetery was a part of that
behind
little
Rippy's
village,
newer house there.
Carrollton.
Behind
That's
Rippy's
it.
newer house.
And Parkersburg was called Somerset sometimes and Shucktown sometimes. And Lapland and Pawnee were on the Midland or the Mona? Midland. Midland
My
Railroad.
dad was from Lapland.
You can still see on modern day maps Lapland and Pawnee. They still show up. And Jamestown, Brent Pointer, Audubon Farm. Anybody familiar with those? Brent Pointer, that would have been out east and north of Ladoga. That was called Jamestown before Jamestown on 234 came to be. Oklahoma was where the ice cream stand is now. It's the convenience store right at the point where you go out towards your house, David. Riverside, where the children's home now. It's a juvenile center or something now, isn't it? Whatever it is. You get a lot of police calls there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was Riverside. Smoky Row is where the tannery was. Of course, you know where Hawk Creek is. Penobscot would have been almost to Newmarket, isn't it? Penobscot in that general area. Stumptown was just on the County Line Road. And Ashby Mills and Forest, that was a pretty good sized community. It was on the Monon, obviously. And Silas Kyle had a lot of land there. Cornstalk Town would have been just off of Cornstalk Road. And then Mount Pleasant would be out to where the Ladoga Rest Park was. So those were all little places. Can I go back?
I'm surprised Hawk Creek didn't get their own little town.
Yeah.
Little name.
There was a.
How far back do I have to go to get to the schools, Megan?
Mount Pleasant Cemetery.
Mount Pleasant Cemetery was a little community called Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, and there was a Brethren Church out there.
Right.
Yeah, up, west.
There's the Mahorny house that we've seen several times. And this one's the last one we got that of the Mahorny house. There's the flood. I want to go back to the schools because I've got a couple of questions for you. It's before the military.
Bill, I forgot to show you the back of that card. That's the Mary's card. It's got all the school for the basketball game.
Oh, okay. What year is that?
It's the years at the top.
34, 35. Huh. Okay, there's one of the, here's the other mystery coming up here, folks. Now there's the mystery that will never be resolved. And these are down at the old Normal now, aren't they?
They are down to normal.
Why does one head have a mustache and the other is a young man, obviously, with his hair? And this was on both sides of the Ladoga High School building, on the east and on the west. You remember seeing those? They were able to rescue those when they tore down the building, and so.
You have to ask the architect.
Well, Diane's not. I asked Diane. Huntington was the architect. You know, the Huntington that built all the houses around Ladoga. He had to have something in his mind. But why one of them is old and one of them is young? And there you see him. There's the old guy there and the young guy there.
One's not a woman and one's not a man.
Nope, they're both men. I think. Which one?
The two heads.
One on each end of the building.
Yep, one on each end of the building. And I think the old one was on the old head was on the the
West
west,
side.
and was on the west side on both doors. Was on the west side of the door at both doors.
I think
And the
maybe
young
teacher-
man was on the east side of both doors.
I think maybe teacher and student.
There was only 2 of those. There wasn't 4. There was just 2.
Oh, no, there's 2 on each side.
There's 2 in each bit, each entry.
Yeah, there was 2 at
West
each entry.
and the east entry.
See, there's the east side. And there you can see the heads up there. Whoops. And there's the west side.
Well, there's only 2 left.
Oh, you've got 4 of them down to the old normal. You got 2 old guys and 2 young guys.
You're right.
So we're trying to figure out why.
You're right. I remember. I
Why
looked
would-
there and I saw the other day. I was looking at one set of them. I didn't realize. Yes, there is.
When Huntington built the buildings, he had to have something in his mind.
Okay, what does that plaque have to do with it?
I don't know.
Around when they tore
Yeah.
them down, all the big beams and stuff was in those buildings,
Yep.
35-foot beams, 12 inches square.
What'd they do with all that?
Climb anything.
Right here on the corner, they built those apartments.
Oh, is that right?
Klein took the brick that's there, come from the school.
Yeah.
And all the wood in there that framed it up came out of the school. Tribby and I wired those buildings.
Oh, is that right?
After Klein, oh yeah, you would not believe how many drill bits we went through trying to drill through that
That hard.
old native lumber, you
You know,
know?
those bricks were made
At the,
right out here on Lover's Lane.
really,
Yes. Right there where the old dump used to be. You guys don't know where that was at.
Well, there's the gym as I remember. You guys remember the gym this way?
Hey, go back to the picture of the girls. One of those girls is Chet Weiss's great granddaughter.
This is the way that it looks now, kind of. They use it for a lot of different things. This would have been the way it looked before we played Christmas Attics. Because Jack Hester said we bought glass bank boards with the money that we made from playing Christmas Attics. So these are the old bank boards and the old scoreboard, and now it has a ceiling in it. So this would be the Ladoga Gymnasium, pretty much as I remember it. I think we got the glass bank boards. I was maybe a freshman or sophomore.
Let's see the new one. Let's go back.
And this was a program from the first game at the new gym. Don Carmichael got the first basket for the B team, and Ed Finley got the first basket in the new gym for the varsity. You see some names there that you recognize, don't you? Virgil Weiss, George Ellis, Jerry Morrison, John McCreary, Glenn Bymaster, Ed Finley, Jack Johnson, Van Johnson, Low Ronk, and Robert Scott. Those are all names that you recognize, right?
You know the Van Gundy boys on TV,
The who?
the Van Gundys, Jeff and Stan,
Oh yeah,
they had a Finley ancestor.
is that right?
Their grandfather was the son of one of the Finley girls.
No kidding.
Salome Burkett's family.
It's good to have a genealogist with us, right?
Salome
That's
was
interesting.
Finley.
Ed Finley lived down there by.
Yeah, it was her.
He was
Yeah.
an old man when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's Ed Finley. So
That's it, right?
I think their mother was a Van Gundy.
I'm done. That's it.
That's all you know.
That's all I know.
Did you figure out?
I told you more than I know.
Is anybody in here in the old opera hall?
Pardon?
Or was you ever in the old opera hall?
I was in there after it closed down. Charlie Hughes used to have pinball machines and stuff like that stored upstairs, and Carl Todd worked for Charlie, and so we had to go up there and get some of those pinball machines down out of there. And by that time, I'm maybe a sophomore in high school, and I don't have enough sense to look around. I didn't know what it was.
I was in there I was 13 years old. Bergen come down and had the dime store. Mr. Bergen redone the old theater down here, and he had a space down in the front that he wanted to fill in with seats. We went up into that old opera hall, and we hauled out about 15 seats and
Now-
set them in front of the old theater.
Where was his movie? Was it just across the street where Bob Pointer and Emery Creekbaum had the theater?
It's a theater building part.
Right over here.
Yeah, we've been right
Is it
across the
still there?
street.
No, it's gone.
It's about the last building that's there right now.
Creek bomb in the early 50s.
Right. It would be what, next door to the city building now,
Yeah,
right next to it. wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was always the theater. So
Yeah.
Bergen took the seats out of the old Opry House and put them there.
I was one of the kids helping.
That's something.
We drove them down out of there, they was a mess. We stood, and we was out on the street over here on the south side of all those buildings, there in the middle of the street, and washed them down. Then we got them cleaned up and got them in now inside of the,
Now,
Theater,
what
we
year
made
would
it.
that have been?
Hmm?
What year would that have been?
about 53,
53.
53, 54, right in there somewhere.
Because it was probably 52 maybe when I was up in there, and the roof had sprung a leak, and you know, once the roof goes, well, the whole building is set to go. I think they tore the top off in 56.
Probably,
Sometime
yeah,
around
I
there.
remember when they done it, but
Yeah.
I don't remember what year.
Yeah, the
That
Stadler
thing
boys
still
tore-
had the big roll down scenery things. There's about 4 of them hanging
Oh,
in
it
there.
was-
There's
yeah.
about that big around and about 20 feet long.
the old Ladoga Opera House was first class. It was really something. And I've never seen a picture of the inside of it.
I had it. It had box seats in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how many it held? Held 500 or 600, didn't it?
I expect it
Yeah.
did. I don't remember
Wow.
it, Bill, but yeah, we took those 15 seats out of there and we just made a dent. in it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the seating capacity was about 500.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
The old furniture store, what was in that before it was furniture store?
Window Blades Furniture Store?
Yeah, before it was Blades Furniture.
There was a barber shop there.
Well, yeah, that was on the north side of it.
I don't
Was it a
remember.
restaurant?
Terry, have you ever
I
done
think
any
it had there.
research on
You
your?
know, the back end of that,
I
always
built a
back to me,
barber
they might have
shop.
had a restaurant or something.
There was a restaurant there
Grocery
one time.
store maybe?
There was a
I believe it was
restaurant.
a grocery store. You think
Could have
that?
been.
I don't know.
If you walk into the back part of that building, it wasn't just a wall, there was stuff there, kind of like maybe a grocery store or a restaurant.
So Ladoga was kind of involved in a conspiracy on the Lincoln assassination.
Yeah,
I can give you.
That's the
two
mystery.
clips.
Hey, so Bill, while you were talking, I had Chat GPT do some research on that. I'll send that to you.
okay. On what?
On the conspiracy
The
theory.
conspiracy?
And it-
I can give you a new conspiracy theory on JFK. I worked with a guy that his mother was involved in the Secret Service office in Indianapolis. She says